Yesterday, both of us met him. I met him for the first time to IP speaking for to him for a while. And of course, it was a grieving phase. 30 minutes, he gave us everything that we needed to know, right? So that's the amount of clarity which I saw Mr. Break onto the table. And so, just to get things started, I will start from where Joy left. So, Joy talked about you talking about CEO, and donning the hat of a CHRO. What do you really mean by that? What did you do to hit? Are you up to the jobs of the CHRO or is this something else?
Hi, good afternoon or good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here, shared my little thoughts, and hope to go back with some value addition to myself because you all are young, energetic HR professionals of today, and I was telling someone I'm an antique. So he said antique has a very high price, but I said, yes, that may be true, but they're kept only in the museums. So when I say something, please make a correction for the fact that I'm a century-old, antiquated professional who practices art and science many years back. And so that's the context of mine. Also, whatever I say, I'll come to your question, whatever I say will be in relation to my experiments in very large organizations. I'll name two, the last two, that is Indian Aluminium, Hindalco and ACC. Both were organizations with thousands of people and thousands of management staff and tens and twenties of locations all around India. So doing anything in these kind of large, spread out, multi-location manufacturing organizations, it takes time because things have to percolate down and these multi-locational challenges have to be overcome. So, and these are both manufacturing organizations. Although I'm happy to see quite a few, I think smokestack industry people here, but I'm a little surprised because I thought Kolkata, those industries have died a peaceful death, and it's mostly Sector 5 that has kept Kolkata alive. But anyway, I'm surprised. So that's a bit of a context about what I've done. So you have to make corrections, you have to adapt it to your own situations. So yes, it is true that what Joy said and crucial resource question, that I did proclaim myself officially as the HR head of the company. Yes, I called the HR head, the designation that I had given us Chief People Officer, CPO. And the CPO was a competent person, but probably I named myself the head of HR because I had nothing else to do. But humor aside, I was giving the analogy of the Prime Minister of a country. It's a much bigger analogy. But when a person takes the chair of a Prime Minister of a country, he or she keeps the most important portfolio with him. Apart from the fact that he is the leader of the country and the chair of the cabinet, he or she also keeps the most important portfolio, what he thinks is most important for the country at that point of time, within himself, under his direct supervision. And that can be defense, foreign affairs, finance, whatever. Am I audible or is there a...
Yes.
So, likewise, the managing director of a company will also probably have to choose. Yes, I have to have oversight over everything. But what is that area where I need to be focused on? What is that area where I want to concentrate and I want to guide and things like that? It's not, such a announcement can be taken in a positive and a negative way. And the negative way first. Negative way is that the HR head was useless. So, or the HR head is redundant, or I felt that I am more competent at the HR head. Not so. The positive way to look at it is that, like I said, in a large organization, implementation of anything takes time. It's not about months, but it's about years. So whatever I plan, I knew in SEC has to be done over a period of 2-3 years at the minimum. And I couldn't run the risk of that implementation getting bogged down in terms of speed. And therefore, I thought that if I put my weight and my push behind it, then the implementation will be faster. So the HR head will be able to do things faster, because everybody will know that this function, this discipline, this aspect of the organization has the backing of the CEO. That's, I think, why I did it. And I don't think the HR head was too very much unhappy with me at the end of those 3 years.
Yeah, that's great, sir. Thank you so much for to that point of view. Now, you've been a CEO, you've been a board member. From your viewpoint, what sets apart a great CHRO from the other run-of-the-mill stuff?
I think let me say this upfront. I think the HR heads in my days were less professionally qualified than they are today. What I say is in terms of theory and practice, not just practice. In terms of formal education and specialization in the field of HR. In my days, there used to be, and in both these companies that I talked about, HR heads, the heads of people function, came from of engineering training, came from the plant directors, plant heads, and things like that. You know what I mean? So, when you ask that question, in relation to the HR heads that I have worked with, my experience will be very limited, and I don't think it will be very interesting and exciting to share. From that perspective, even I got myself an HR head, I also did not have a formal training. So in HR. But on hindsight, I would say, this is my opinion, that a true HR head that day and today, I think it is applicable that day and today both, should be very sensitive to all the stakeholders. Employees, of course, the members of the team, of course, but should be very sensitive to all the stakeholders. And we now know what is a stakeholder. Our time, it was a buzzword, but it is no longer a buzzword. Right? It is a part of the dictionary very much. So a HR head who will be outstanding, will be sensitive to all these stakeholders, will also be able to look at all the perspectives of the function, and also you have seen the CFOs everywhere. All companies have CFOs just like they have HR heads. CFOs talk the business language. CFOs can convert any number into business results, and vice versa. Any business result into numbers. And in our time, the HR heads were not talking business lingo. They were talking people lingo, yes, but they were not talking business lingo. But I think it would have been nice yesterday and today if the HR heads talk the business language. What's the business goal? How to achieve that from actionable point of view? How is performance driven? what areas of the business are weak, what are the strategic business decisions we taken. So be fully involved in the business. So that's a good HR head, I think, in today. And also, and the other one is, which I noted down, is a beautiful balance between rules and empathy. An HR head also, unfortunately or fortunately, has to run the organization. It's so in fact, in my time in SEC, I had bifurcated the two, saying one is organization administration OA and the other is organization development OD, which must be in one way or the other, must be the fashion today. Everybody does that. But in our time, it was not very common. So OA and OD were into two verticals in HR. But the head of the HR has to strike a balance between administering the organization, implementing the rules and the policies, and at the same time, make those exceptions, recommend those exceptions, and be empathic to the members of the team. So these, I think, are good HR tenets.
Okay. I think so. I know, just a follow up on what you said right now. You talk about HR speaking the business lingo. How do you link people's strategy to business goals? I mean, realistically, is that possible? Because that's what you started. And can you really measure, business impact in terms of what you're doing on the people front? Is there a way to measure the business impact?
Yeah. In my own way, possibly I can write a kind of postdoctoral thesis of this subject, but basically because I have the privilege of having done an extensive experiment on ground, and I would say have achieved some measure of success in front of my eyes. So I realize what works and what it does not work, and things like that. See, fundamentally, I think any business wants to make profit. Any business wants to achieve growth. And the two are combined together today to say, bottom line, profitable growth. It's very easy. There's no debate on this. I don't think any business has anything other than this profitable growth. What Joy said just now also translates to, in one way or the other, the same thing, profitable growth. And that's what all business wants to do. And then there is a second one maybe, and that's sustainability. And when I say sustainability, I don't mean saving the planet. I mean saving the planet, of course, which is a little altruistic, but I also mean building a sustainable organization. And, if the organization does not last, then what is the point in profitable growth? So this second one, building sustainability in the organization, is something that puts people in the front and center of any strategy. So if you consider these as the goals of any business, I mean in a very generic form, then you can't do without planning your people strategy very extensively. And the science of linking business goals to KPIs, and then the actions that are required to achieve those KPIs, if you start plotting that, the science of that, which is actually not just science but a little bit of philosophy also. Science and philosophy has a lot of overlap. But if we do that, then we will be able to see that most of these start coming down to the fact that we have to have the right people, we have to retain the right people, we have to develop the skills and knowledge in the people for the right kind of markets, geographies, products and services. So, and how do we link the people strategy with the business strategy and the KPIs? It looks a bit complex initially, but what we landed up doing, actually what we not landed up doing, what we started doing is that I wanted to go back to the absolute baseline because I was aware that we have to do a 2-3 year time frame project. And to have the baseline, we first conducted, on the one hand, we conducted a employee satisfaction survey. I think we called it organization health survey, but it was nothing, essentially an employee satisfaction survey. And it was conducted by us online eternally. And I think someone will remember, I think we had a participation of 88% of the employees, which is in those days numbers, 88% participation in a online or offline survey was unthinkable. It was very high. And the survey, of course, gave us a lot of indication about what the employees think of us. So that was one part. Let's give it aside for that I'll leave. The other part was failing the business goals from charting out the vision of the company and brainstorming with teams in all the locations across India about what should our values be. We give people choices of values and what is relevant to the industry, what is relevant to ACCs. I'm talking about ACC now. So with the vision and values behind us, which was actually brainstormed throughout the organization at different levels, in Hindi, in English, in all languages. Then we started plotting the long-term, short-term and long-term and medium-term business goals. And then we started talking about the actions which are required and the KPIs. So it was, on the one hand, this was the activity. On the other hand, the activity was the organization health survey, which gave us indicators about what the employees think of the organization. What is the organization's strengths and weaknesses in terms of the employee perspective. So very nice pointers. And so when we sat down and we did a merging of these two and looked at those areas of the organization, those actions in respect of employees where it will help the business goals. So we prioritize those. So this fusion of these two elements together gave us the set of KPIs, and we found that and our business goals and KPIs were on the stakeholder format. So we had weightage of shareholders, weightage of even supply chain, we had weightage of employees and communities, and so all the actions that we need to take for ensuring sustainability, long-term survival of the organization, healthy survival of the organization, were in the area of employees, were in the area of the members of the team. And this was not surprising because we feel that development and learning, etc., these initiatives take a long time. A development and learning and training and development of new skill sets are not things which give you results everywhere. Like, tomorrow you will say, I cut 100 kilowatt or 1,000 kilowatts of power consumption. It gives you immediately results in the bottom line. Just to give an example. But training and development of people are at best medium term and at worst long term initiatives. So therefore, these are always connected with not just the years or the quarters, profits and growths, but are definitely connected with the long-term health of the organization, and that's what we found. And so therefore, the common quadrants or the overlaps of these two initiatives gave us the map of KPIs at different levels. And of course, the implementation of that is another story. But this is how we connected, and this is how we also discovered that employees' initiatives, developmental initiatives among employees, gives us longer term results. And therefore, each of those investments, they cost money. And each of those investments, we'll have to wait for results. We cannot be impatient. at least 2-3 years. And I don't know whether in today's context, people are ready to wait for that or not. But yes, that's how we talked about, we designed the KPIs linked with people development and resource growth.
That's great. So, AK, there are any questions from the audience?
Perspective you have said, there is a great learning on this correlation between organization health survey and the KPIs and the leakage. And you, as you rightly said, this L&D initiatives takes time. Like it's not a short-term goal; it's a medium or a long term. Just wanted to know that how did you keep the people interested in this learning and development initiatives? Was it a kind of follow-ups by your team or something like that, or you use how did you generate the interest among the people? Then it's important, Larry, because many of times we see a lot of follow-ups are required. We need to expand them. It is for your benefit, organization's benefit, and any kind of initiatives or linking it to reward and recognition. How it was followed in your organization, be it in SEC or wherever you were work.
So we did measure sustainability also. And to come to your question, how did we enthuse people? How did we motivate people to continue for such a long time? It is a very complex answer because it's not one thing. It's a number of things which happen sort of came from us instinctively. So you mentioned about reward and recognition. Yes, that was a big part of it. But there are also other elements of how we generated interest, how we get people motivated. So there are two distinct categories of people where you are talking about how did you keep people engaged. One is the category of people who are driving the projects, right, initiatives, and one is the category of people who who are getting development, who are getting trained, who are getting skilled, and things like that. So it is more important to make these people, these employees aware that this is what is there at the end of the day for you if you do your development. By the way, can you guess what was the biggest learning and development initiative as far as I'm concerned? Because it is non-conventional. I mean, I'm not belittling the other things that we did. We say that's something called virtual, something called ACC University, which had 5 tiers, starting from ITI technician level to diploma holder level to young junior management level to middle management who has the potential to take up bigger roles and things like that. So that's a big story actually. But the biggest initiative, the most successful initiative, I would say, not the biggest, the most successful initiative in learning and development for me has always the job potential. And he was developed. And he was developed with proper planning through what functions he will go through.